My family almost ruined my marriage, and I want you to learn from my story. Hello, guys, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button, join the family, and call your friends and family members to join as well. We promise you'll learn a lot from the stories we share. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it. I got married to my beautiful wife 4 years ago. From the very beginning, my siblings did not like her, and I never understood why. I'm the third child in a family of four, but the first to get married. Maybe that added to the tension. My wife is very calm, peaceful, and collected, which is one of the reasons why I decided to marry her. Not long after we got married, my wife became pregnant, and around that time, I received my visa to travel to Germany. Before I traveled, two of my sisters suggested to live with my wife while I was away, but my wife preferred to stay with her own siblings. I didn't argue with her because I understand that my sisters could be very difficult sometimes, and I didn't want to risk any issues happening between my wife and my sisters. But my mom convinced me otherwise. She insisted that my sisters should stay with my wife to make sure she stayed faithful to me. Reluctantly, I made the decision to allow my sisters stay with my wife, a decision that I regret till today. At the time, I thought I was protecting my marriage. I didn't know I was doing the opposite. Once I left for Germany, my sisters began sending me constant complaints about my wife. I confronted her repeatedly based on their reports, but my wife wasn't having it. She told me I was being insecure, that my sisters were trying to destroy our marriage, but I let my ego and emotions cloud my judgment. Things got worse. I stopped sending my wife money directly and instead gave it to my mother. I made her ask my mother for money whenever she needed something. The distance between us continued to grow, and then tragedy struck. My wife had a stillbirth. My family accused her of causing the death of our child. In my grief and confusion, I believed them. I didn't speak to my wife for months. I blamed her for the loss and never once comforted her, even as she pleaded with me through calls and messages. After 4 months, I finally reached out and we started talking again. I returned to my country a year later when my visa expired. I met the same calm, loving, and caring woman I had married. Being back in Africa proved very difficult for me. I tried to apply for visas to Europe, but each attempt proved abortive. My financial status began to drop, and financial crisis hit me like a plague. My wife, who was still working, supported me financially without a single complaint. At some point, I started to feel inferior to her. My mom and siblings stopped calling once the money was no longer coming in. I felt like my world was crumbling. My wife started encouraging me to find a job, but I took it as an insult. Before I knew it, a year had passed and I was doing nothing with my life. One night, I had a dream where my late father appeared to me. I told him about my troubles, and he revealed something I hadn't realized. He said my wife was special. He said my fortunes had changed for better after I married her and had worsened when I started mistreating her. He told me to apologize to her because she was deeply hurt and grieving inside. And until she found peace, my life would only go downwards. When I woke up in the morning, it was as if a veil had been lifted off my eyes. I lay in bed for hours, reflecting on everything that had happened and realizing that my insecurities and my family's manipulation had nearly destroyed my marriage. I apologized to my wife sincerely, even though I didn't have money for grand gestures. She forgave me and we worked on rebuilding our bond. Soon after, she became pregnant again, and I finally found a job. She encouraged me to apply for a visa again and even took out a loan from her bank to help with the costs. This time, I got approved. I moved over to Portugal and things have been going much better ever since. My wife is almost due to deliver and I'm praying that everything goes on smoothly. I've warned my sisters to stay out of my marriage and never speak ill about my wife again. I now have peace in my life and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Thank you so much for watching up to this point. Before you leave, here are a few lessons that we learned from the story that we would like to share with you. Number one, protect your marriage from outside influence. No one, not even your family, should be able to interfere in your marriage in a significant way. Their interference, if at all any, should remain at the level of advice. Trust between partners is essential, and allowing others to manipulate your perception of your spouse can cause irreparable damage in your home. Your marriage is between you and your spouse, not you, your spouse, and your family. Number two, communicate and listen to your spouse. Poor communication and failure to listen to your spouse's concern can lead to misunderstandings and unnecessary conflicts in any marriage. It's crucial to address issues together as a team and not let others dictate for you how to handle issues in your relationship. Number three, let go of ego and insecurities. They can ruin any good relationship. Insecurities can cloud your judgment and destroy even the strongest of bonds. Learn to trust your partner and don't let external influences and personal fears dictate to you how to treat your spouse. Self-reflection and humility are key to maintaining a healthy marriage. Thank you so much for watching up to this point. We really appreciate your support. We really appreciate your loyalty to this channel. We promise to bring you more entertaining and educational videos and stories. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel, and keep coming back for more. See you in the next video. Bye.